All right. Hi, Julia. How are
Hi,
you?
Rachel.
Welcome,
It's a beautiful,
everybody.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a
it's a beautiful
beautiful
day
day.
in Texas. The weather's finally nice and bright and sunny.
Yeah, what's the temperature right now? What was it? How's it going
Well,
right
it's in
now?
the 50s. It's in the 50s, but it's bright and sunny, which, we've been through some really bad weather in the past couple weeks. So this feels wonderful to me. It's chilly, but it's not freezing cold. So it feels great.
Yeah, what's it usually in Texas like in February? What do you guys usually have?
Like this. It
Oh,
doesn't usually get terrible in Texas, and we always get the sun, and we don't get a lot of really bad weather, but when we do, it's rare, but when we do, it's really bad. So, we've had some
yeah.
bad weather.
Yeah, would you say that Texas is like extreme temperature changes, or would you say it's fairly like consistent with the weird bad weather?
Yeah, Texas is actually the climate isn't bad at all except for a couple times a year. Like, it's really bad from June through August. It gets really hot, so it'll get up into the 90s every day, and some days it'll get up in the hundreds, and that's pretty miserable, and it's humid. And then in the winter, we go through maybe January, February, where it can get kind of, cold and awful for a few days, but not too bad. It's not as bad as probably living in the Northeast because we don't get, tons of snow and ice or anything like that.
Right. And like just hearing what you're saying about like the climate, it brings me, I'm gonna swoon into the bundle to talk about the bundle a little bit about like this weather change in the climate. And I was looking through some ebooks in there yesterday, and there's one specifically that focuses on macrobiotics, right? And
Oh
so what
yeah,
that
yeah.
means, I thought what it meant was like this person's like tuning into is their protein, is their carbs, is
Mhm.
and that's
Right.
not what this person
No,
means.
no.
They mean eating according to the weather, eating according to
Mhm.
like a lot of grains, this type of grain when it's cold, and this type of and that's super cool to me because to think about
Mhm.
like the weather and like
Mhm.
allowing our bodies to eat that food. Have you ever explored that type of
Oh
eating?
yeah, Rachel, remember I'm an old hippie. So, back in the 70s, the macrobiotic movement was very popular. And that's what there were a bunch of, they were kind of very out there, strange hippie type people that ate grains and miso and tempeh and weird stuff and, wore organic clothing and didn't pollute the environment and didn't want to have toxic chemicals on their skin and lived off of the earth. And they were such a fringe group in our society that people, didn't really know much about them. And, macrobiotics, now that's kind of a trend. Now it's coming back to, yeah, those people knew what they were talking about because they were eating, whole grains, and they were eating lots of vegetables, and they were eating, non plant, that they were eating not animal products, and eating beans and tofu and seasonal things like you were saying, macro according to the world. So they were eating seasonal things and, doing a lot of things bringing no harm to animals and preserving nature, and all the stuff that macrobiotics stands for is actually really good today. I've got books about it, and it was kind of difficult for people to do, traditionally, because nothing in our society would really support that way of eating. So
Right.
now, of course, we have so many plant-based options and a lot more going on. Not all of it's, organic and healthy, but there are a lot more choices just for eating, plants now. But yeah, that's a
Mhm.
great concept, I think.
And one of my favorite like one of the things I love about being your friend, Julia, is that your experience, like I forgot that you were an old time hippie, or like that was what, like your experience from like all of the things that you've and like you share in your ebook, like your Japanese heritage. You were in the military, you were a therapist, like you've just done so many things. Now you're like a plant-based, like a well-known plant-based chef. Like you've just done it all, it's super awesome.
Well, thank you, Rachel. I was saying earlier on my live this morning, excuse me, where I made this smoothie. It's a called a tiramisu smoothie, and it has coffee, freshly brewed coffee. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. And it has a little cacao powder, some soy milk. Hi, honey. My dog's here.
Aw.
Some soy milk, some cinnamon, and it's got all the stuff that you would associate with the dessert tiramisu. And it was from Debbie Adler's smoothie ebook in the bundle. So I made that. But while I was on Facebook Live making my delicious smoothie, I mentioned you, and I was talking about that we were going to go live here in a little while. And I was saying that I liked being your friend because you're young, you're the age of my children, I think my youngest daughter. And I learn a lot from people in your age group because you grew up knowing how to do the stuff that's hard for me. A lot of the stuff that I do to try to keep up with what's going on in the world doesn't come very naturally to me, like technology and, you know, videos and a lot of the stuff that I do. I've had to really like reach out and learn how to do stuff that I'm not very comfortable with. And I'm getting better at it, but it's still like my grandson, who's 8, 9, James, months ago, he told me, he said, Grandma, you need to be doing YouTube shorts. And I said, What? What's that? And he said, YouTube shorts are short videos on YouTube. And he said, they're really popular and you get paid for them one day. And I said, I'm not doing that. I don't have time for that. That's stupid. I'm not doing that, James. Forget it. Well, then YouTube, I have I have a very busy YouTube channel now. I have 7,000 and more subscribers now, and I do all these videos. Well, I started doing shorts about a couple months ago, way after he told me that. And recently, YouTube sent a message out and said shorts are monetized now, meaning we get paid for making YouTube shorts. And I have a bunch of YouTube shorts that are getting a lot of attention. So I told James the other day when he came to visit, I said, James, hurry up and grow up so you could be my assistant. And he said, he took me seriously. He said, okay, Grandma, okay, I'm going to learn as much as I can. So, that's why I like to be around young people because this kind of stuff, comes a lot easier to you. And like all your graphic stuff that you've done, I was looking at your little thumbnail where you had the two of us in there, but there was no background to the person. And I said, oh, I've got to ask Rachel how she did that. So, I really admire all you're able to do at your young age and the fact that you're so confident because if I were in my 30s trying to do this, there is no way I could come across like you. I was so anxious and nervous and self-conscious when I was in my 30s. I would never have done this. I was always kind of like, if I had to do a presentation or something in front of people, I would be all, like my voice would be shaky and I would be, have sleepless nights. So I admire your confidence.
Well, thank you for saying that. Um, I think it has a lot to do with the fact of like this, this like uncovering this perseverance inside, right? It's like,
Mhm.
because I did have all the feelings of like everyone's thinking about, but I went through them when luckily, I was a teacher, right? So it's like you almost have to be in front of people and just yap, yap, yap.
Mhm.
Um, but it's like, and this is what, I look up to you about it too, is this, and this is for everybody too. And if you're thinking of like getting started on the wellness or changing your health or changing your careers or making a decision to go through with something, like to not hold yourself back, it's this like perseverance, even if you're embarrassed, even if you're afraid, even if you think you're too old, if you think you're too young, if you think you're too unfit, if you're too fit, whatever the case may be, it's like this concept of like just believing that like all we have to do is believe a little bit. The first person that has to believe is you. Um, and that's what I love to see here is like, and that's where I think the confidence comes from. And it does come from you too. Like I put on the thumbnail, you're my mentor. Because and like folks who don't know, I met Chef Julia 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, when I was looking. I was a teacher at a school, a vegan, and I was like, well, and I took one of Chef Julia's courses, how to make plant-based burgers. And I was like, well, this needs to be at school, and then the district will pay for it, and then we can make vegan food. And then you like lit me up. You're like, go for it, do it. And then before you knew it, I quit my job. I'm not a teacher anymore, and I just, I do this. So it's like empowered women empower women. It's super cool.
Yep, that's right. I remember telling you because I was looking at your posts and listening to you talk about how well being plant-based had helped you and all the things that were going on in your life. And I remember saying to you, well, you ought to be doing this talk because you have so much to offer people. And you're right there. And you're young and dynamic and you could do so much for the world. And you were like, huh, maybe I should try that. So that's great. That's why people in my, maturity level, that's what we need to be doing. We need to be helping other people. And that's one thing I love about the bundle is because, like I made a list for myself of all the people that contributed to the bundle that I really like. And I was really excited when it came out because I recognized all these people right away, like Kathy Hester. I love Kathy Hester. I think I have every book she's ever written. She's famous. She's written books on everything in the plant-based world, not recently either. Like she was in the beginning when people didn't even really know about this way of eating. And she had all
Hmm.
these vegan cookbooks. And I think she was probably at some conferences I attended back in the early days. There were these conferences called the International Food Bloggers Conference. And I need to ask her about this, but I think she was probably at those conferences. But I was so shy and I didn't know what I was doing back then. I didn't know who to talk to, but I think she was there. And Kathy Fisher, I have Kathy Fisher's cookbook called Straight Up Food, and she has a quick and easy salad dressings valued at $55. That's
Hmm.
just one thing. Kathy Hester's courses are worth a hundred and something dollars because she charges $35 a course.
Hmm.
So just if you just bought her offering of 3 courses, it would be over $100. And I'm going to take her courses because even though I'm a chef and I do a bunch of stuff, hers is called Kitchen Wizardry, and she's going to be talking about dehydration. Well, I love dehydration because I have a garden, and every year I have so much stuff. I have tomatoes, I have peppers, I have greens. I have a lot of stuff. Well, she's going to show you how to make your own bouillon powder. Well, how neat is that? Instead of having to buy packages of bouillon mix, paste, powder, stock, you can make your own. And you don't have to have a garden. You can just go buy produce or use the scraps of your produce that you're already using, dehydrate it, grind it up, and you have bouillon powder.
Hmm.
And
I wanna pause about the salad dressing thing that you mentioned that's in the
okay.
bundle because I work with clients, so many different clients, and one of the biggest things is how do I go out to eat? What should I put on my salad? Do you have salad dressing? I coach people and
Mhm.
I get, do you have salad dressing recipes for me? So in this
Right. Yeah.
bundle, like there are ebooks that are dedicated solely whole food, and the best part about the bundle is that every single recipe in it is oil free. Like I that's just
Mhm.
unique. That is beyond
Right.
unique to me. You can't really find
Mhm.
that. And like so folks can go like, and people will ask me, how do you go out to eat? Well, what you do is you order this like really extravagant beautiful salad and add all the beautiful things, then
Mhm.
you bring your own dressing. They're like, well, what do
Yep.
you ask for the dressing? Well, you put the dressing in your purse, in your pocket, in your shirt, whatever it feels right. And in
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
bundle, I love that there's so many options for raw dressings, dressings with nuts, dressings without nuts, dressings with
Mhm.
soy, dressings without soy. You know,
Mhm.
super
That's an
good.
excellent point, Rachel. You're exactly right because with my followers and subscribers and the people I work with, that's a big pitfall, is not bringing your own salad dressing.
Yes.
Because, everybody else is out there, they're eating a huge giant mountain of food, cooked food, whatever food, and you order your salad and you get this beautiful salad and it's got all this stuff on it that you can eat and it looks really great. And then when it comes to the dressing, you're like, oops, now my only choice is to squeeze lemon on my salad or to ask for vinegar. Well, I am not an acid person, really, not very much. So I don't like to squeeze citrus or vinegar on my salads. To me, it just tastes bitter. So I'm one of those people. I love creamy dressings made with tahini and lemon, cashews and lemon, sunflower seeds, avocados. I like creamy, rich dressings, especially if I'm going out, because then everybody's eating this kind of really rich food. So if I can pull out my cashew lemon or lime dressing and put it all over my salad and order a baked potato and order some steamed vegetables and a salad, I'm having a great meal. But that dressing makes all the difference in the world. So you are right, Rachel. This alone, in my ebook alone, in the Japanese ebook, there are a bunch of dressing recipes. I even have a section on Japanese inspired salad dressings. And
Right.
the miso ginger dressing, a lot of people told me that that tasted exactly like the salad dressing they're used to eating in the Japanese restaurant, where they bring you iceberg lettuce and they bring you some kind of miso ginger
Yep.
dressing and it tastes real good on crispy lettuce. Well, they told me that's what my dressing reminded them of. So they liked it.
And I love, like, right, so the creamy dressings, the nutty dressings, and like I'm hearing from a nutritionist standpoint, like these things we're incorporating some fat, right? The
Hmm.
avocado, and
Sure. Yeah.
something too that can be missed on a whole food plant-based diet, that folks can get deficits. And I know, like, if you're dealing with heart disease, if you're right, but the thing about a whole food plant-based oil-free diet is the fats we incorporate are good fats, right? So your
Hmm.
avocado, your nut butters in moderation, your sunflower seeds, right? There's so much, your sesame seeds, your sesame tahini queenie right here, but there's so much like that we can use to create like a well balanced meal. And the dressing is a really nice gateway to make sure, because your body does need fat, right? So we're,
Hmm.
we're wanting to reduce blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease, all of these things. We don't want to overdo it. That's why we don't eat animal protein, but the body does need fat. And folks, it's really important to make sure that you get it. Otherwise, you'll feel deficits. And the dressings, the creamy dressings, the avocado-based dressings, the tofu, right? There's a whole
Hmm.
ebook in this bundle that is like getting started with tofu. I don't
Yeah.
remember the exact name, but it's like
Tofu
training wheels.
training wheels. Tofu
Yes.
training wheels. I
Yeah.
printed out a recipe from that, Rachel. There was a recipe for crispy tofu, and I haven't made it yet, but I have it. I actually printed out that one recipe because I thought, man, I'm going to make this. I don't know where I put it now. I got so many papers around here, but it was like taking tofu and dredging it in some cornstarch and making the outside of it super crispy. So I still might, if I can find time today and my other, demos outside of those, I might actually make the crispy tofu.
Yeah.
So
How
yeah,
m- how many different recipes from the bundle have you made, Julia? Do you
oh,
think?
a lot of them, I don't know how many I made from other people. I've made a bunch of mine because I've been doing a lot of live demos, but I've made several smoothies. I've made I made a date. It was like a date caramel sauce, and I'm trying to think. I made your oatmeal cookies. I made
Yeah, I
your
saw that.
chocolate chip cookies yesterday. They were so good. I ate one for breakfast this morning with my tiramisu smoothie. So, I mean, I haven't explored it as much as I want to because I've been really busy. Because one of the things that seemed to be helping me was to cook recipes from my own ebook because there was a lot of interest in that. So I've been doing more cooking this time of things from my own Japanese plant-based ebook, but there are a lot of recipes in other people's books that are really, something that I want to come back to at a later date. Fat Man. Oh, Fat Man's Favorites from Tim Kaufman. I made his rice pudding one day,
Mm.
and it was so easy. It was just brown rice, and it had some almond milk and raisins, and I put blueberries on it, and I had made it extra brown rice. So it was so, kind of comforting and creamy. So that was a good one. And Well Your World has 102 pages of recipes, and it's Reeves and Dylan Holmes. And I found a recipe in their ebook, and it was called Hamburgerless Helper. And I was kind of
Wow.
fascinated by it because they said that it was born out of necessity during the pandemic. And I was looking at it, and it was you take some cooked brown lentils and you make a sauce with some plant milk and canned tomatoes and a bunch of seasonings and mix it with the cooked lentils, and then you pour it over rice or noodles. And I
Mm.
thought, that sounds like something I would like because I like brown lentils and I like things that you can put over rice. So that's on my list of things to make because my followers are always looking for easy to make, family friendly, comfort food type recipes. So, Well
Right.
Your World has a bunch of that kind of stuff. And we should have mentioned that Chef Val has whole grains for a healthy you, and she's a macrobiotic chef. And I know you did a live with her, and I did too. And she's the nicest person, and she's looking for people to follow her. She's such a sweet person, and she's just got a YouTube channel that's just getting started, and she's very eager to get people interested in her macrobiotic way of life. So if you're interested in that, look up Chef Val. And I think hers is can't remember what her YouTube channel is called, but it's Valerie, is it Wilson? But anyway, if you look up Macro Val, her YouTube channel will pop up because I started following her YouTube channel too, just to see what she's up to. And it was funny because she actually, there's a root vegetable that the Japanese eat. It's called gobo, and it's burdock root. And it's really strange looking. It's like a long stick. It looks like a wooden stick, basically, but it's a root vegetable. And I was telling her about making something with gobo, and she said, I have a whole YouTube video on burdock root and the benefits of it. And it just cracked me up because of all the people in the world, nobody ever knows what that is unless they're Japanese. And she knew all about it. So, Macro Val, I just love her. And,
And I
I have highlighted, look at all the stuff I've highlighted on my list of things that I want to come back to look at. This isn't even all the bundle offerings. But early on, I went through and I made my own written list, and I started highlighting all the things that I want to go back to when I'm done promoting it because this is keeping me really busy. Um, the self worth coach. There's a whole thing about self worth. There's a thing about decluttering. There's a thing about yoga teacher certification worth $97. So it's not just about food.
And one of the things I contributed to is not just food. It's like there's two different things that I did. One is food, really easy recipes to make,
Mhm.
Rachel Detroit style, where you don't really,
Mhm.
it's just basic. But the other thing is like these six aspects of lifestyle, and that's what I'm hearing is like it's just everything is just wellness. So these six aspects of lifestyle
Mhm.
and how to implement them in this moment for free. So there's so much in there that's like
Mhm.
instantly applicable stuff that you can do. There's a posture,
Oh,
Jacqueline
yeah, I saw
Williams,
that.
that helps you with your posture and how, right? How you move through the world and how you are well or
Mhm.
unwell based off of, how you carry
Right,
yourself.
yeah.
And another question I often get from clients too is how do we make these smoothies, right? What are some different
Mhm.
smoothies? And there are a lot of smoothie recipes in there to get you more
Mhm. Yeah.
excited about this way. And this is really what I think this is about for people to stay on path, right? And to hearing about self-worth, right? So it's like one, you're worth taking care
Mhm.
of. One, two, you're worth eating healthy. 3, you're worth getting well, and it's like it's just believing that and starting somewhere and listing off all the people involved, even if you just got the bundle and you used one or two ebooks, but you are able to have access to hundreds of people, right? You could go through and you could follow this person and that person and this person and that
Mhm.
and get such a variety of um, because not everyone's the same, right? Like
Mhm.
my school of thought
Mhm.
is different than yours in some ways.
Mhm.
Yours is different than theirs, and it's just so many different people coming together in one place. Um, and like thinking about the cost, right? There's a thing in there that teaches you how to grow your own microgreens. There's
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
Nutmeg Notebooks batch cooking. So we think about costs, but if you
Mhm.
really think
Mhm.
about it and you invest into this ebook for $49, it saves a ton of money because you're working on your wellness. You're preparing meals, you're making a decision. I'm going to cook this, this, and this for this week, and you're not wasting ingredients. You're not
Mhm.
letting
Mhm.
stuff sit in the fridge and get old. You're preparing it. You're excited, and that's what I think this whole bundle week is super awesome because it's like it's an opportunity for everyone to get excited about wellness,
Mhm.
our
Yeah.
common feature.
Yeah, that was really good points there, Rachel, because the more you cook your own food, just like, Kathy Hester making your own bouillon powder, that saves a lot of money. A box of
Yes.
stock is like $4 or more. So if you can
Yep.
make your own stuff, like, I make a bunch of brown rice and store it in little individual containers. I always have brown rice. I make beans in a pot and then store them in half cup portions. I always have beans. I always have, salad vegetables. I always have stuff at home that I'm not dependent on commercial stores, restaurants, fast food, or anything. I can throw together a little bowl with grains, beans, and vegetables and take it with me when I go shopping, which I do. I take my food with me a lot of times
Me too.
because the places I go, I already know that, if I got a sandwich at the deli in the grocery store, the only thing they can make for me that fits my way of eating is an avocado, lettuce, tomato, pickle, and onion sandwich on sourdough bread. And their hummus has oil, so I skip the hummus. Well, that sandwich is $7.99 for just a vegetable sandwich. And it's kind of like, man, I can take two pieces of Dave's bread that I always have, good seed bread, slap on some lettuce, tomato, red onions, avocado, and pickles that I make myself, slap it into a piece of foil or Ziploc bag, throw in an apple, and there you go. I saved myself, $7.99 plus whatever else I would have spent, and just brought myself a delicious, and they taste really good, a delicious sandwich on whole grain bread. So yeah,
Right.
we need to learn. Spending $49 to get all these recipes is just such a great way to save money in the long run, because the more you cook, and this is what I found out with the people that work with me, is the more you cook, the better you get at it, the easier
Yes.
it becomes, and then the easier it is to follow this way of life.
Yes.
So cooking is a big deal. And if you don't like to cook from scratch, there's even a course in here called I Don't Cook, and I Cook a Little. And Lisa Rice, who wrote this course, wrote it for people that don't have time to do anything but throw food together. So, like, she tells you how you can get canned food, frozen food, packaged food, packaged seasonings, toss them all together and make a quick meal without having to spend a lot of time. And she wrote it for people like busy moms, busy, professional people, people who are never at home. So there's something for everyone, even that. And I looked at her ebook. That's where I made the date caramel sauce, was out of her ebook. And it turned out Lisa and I had in common that her father is from the Philippines, and she grew up, her father loved rice, and they ate rice with soy sauce and a lot of Asian food every day. And so we bonded over having parents, that kind of the Asian parent thing. And so it was really great to talk to her. But I met so many incredible people during the bundle launching period. And, I mean, to us, Rachel, I mean, this is such a great time for us because the more people we get to know in our space of plant-based eating, plant-based, no oil, healthy, whole food kind of eating, the better it is for us because we have a sense of community
Yes.
and we don't feel isolated because we still represent such a small percentage of the people in the world. What is it now? 5%? It's not very many. So
Yeah,
it's
and
really good for us to have our own network of like-minded professional people that we can then, like, Kathy Hester's helping you. Well, Kathy Hester, I'm going to, buy some consultation from her when this is over and have her work with me on how to do what you're doing with eCam because I don't really know how to do that and I want to learn. I want to do better quality, live streaming. And I'm going to hire her because she does that. She has a consulting business where she works with people like me and you to help us get better at doing what we do on videos. So, knowing people like her is such an advantage.
hmm yeah, and the whole thing about community, right? Like it is very isolating, right? To be when I first started this journey whole food plant-based and I saw you, I researched like what is the optimal diet to live with autoimmune conditions, right? So I was diagnosed with a diagnosis and this is what came up, whole food, plant-based, oil-free. And I just had no idea what to do. I felt really lost, but then I found you, just Chef Julia class making burgers, plant-based burgers class. And what this does, like in this bundle, it gives you an opportunity to like, even if, right, even if you don't have like a back and forth relationship of communication with someone, having seeing someone every day, regardless of if you're dialoguing, you have a relationship with that
Mhm,
person. It's like you get to know people. You are less
mhm,
alone. You feel like there's a bunch of us. There's a bunch of us plant heads, all
mhm,
over the
mhm,
place. And like it's about connecting and uniting and we're all gearing towards the same idea. And it doesn't have to be so lonely. It could
mhm.
be if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be, you know?
I've never heard that expression, Rachel, plant head. It kind of made me think of pothead.
Yeah, yes, it is a play off
Oh,
potheads. It's a hundred
yeah.
percent one. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. See, that's why I like you. You say things that I would never even think to say. Um,
I've been around, but
yeah, well,
awesome.
you can't go wrong. Rachel contributed some great things to this bundle, and I think she may even cook something for us later today, I hope.
Yep.
And I love, even if my contribution didn't do anything, I wouldn't care because I love my ebook called Plant Based Japanese because my mother, who's Japanese, the story of her is in the beginning of it. And she was the person that got me interested in cooking. And I loved her little Japanese dishes and her cooking. And that was a big part of my life. And I finally got to share it in a plant based way that other people could enjoy in our lifestyle. And just doing that and having it available for me to look at has been so great because now I have all my favorite recipes in one place. So,
Right.
and then all this other stuff, all these other plant based experts and all this content, to me, those are just bonus. If I just had a couple of the things in here, Kathy Hester's classes and Kathy Fisher's salad dressings, my ebook, Rachel's ebook, that would be enough. I don't even need the other 120 things. But having the other 120 things to look at and download for a year is like I never have to worry. If I need something, I don't have to go buy it now. I can just look at my list and say, "Oh, I've already got that. I'm gonna, look at this. I've already got this." I could study up on, microgreens or dehydration or, whatever fitness. There's even, um, things about potatoes. Mary's mini course, Mary
hmm
McDougall. I know some of you probably know about that, that a lot of people that are on a plateau and get stuck and are not able to lose weight anymore have found a lot of help from doing Mary's mini course over a period of a few weeks, couple weeks or so. And it's just really a way to concentrate on using one type of starch and cutting back on the higher fat plant-based foods. And the purpose of it is to kind of jumpstart your weight loss if you're stuck. And, getting stuck happens commonly to people, especially people in my age group, because, postmenopausal women, we don't burn, our metabolisms aren't as fast as they used to be. So it's a lot harder for people in my age group to lose weight, I've found in working with people. So the Mary's Mini course could be helpful. And, I know you guys have probably heard of the Giroudi family, Brittany Giroudi. She wrote a whole new 100 recipe ebook for this bundle. And she's very talented and people love her recipes. Well, that's just another option in the bundle. So
Yeah.
anyone you think of, there's probably something at Plentiful Kiki. The younger generation relate to her. She's got young kids. She's gorgeous and healthy and lost 70 pounds and has kept it off. And she has a huge following. Well, she contributed like 70 new recipes or something like that to this bundle. Hers alone are beautiful. I was looking through her ebook and I saw how she had all these really pretty smoothie bowls and things with fruit, with cherries and mangoes. And I was looking at that going, oh, I need to come back and make this because she uses a lot of really fresh ingredients. So that's another good one.
Right. Yeah, there's so much in there. There's so much to explore. It's only available until midnight on the 12th today, Pacific Standard Time. So if you haven't done it yet, this would be a good time, and you get 1 year to download it all. And once it's downloaded, it's all yours. And you don't have to
Mhm.
download every single piece of content. You can download the ones you want. And let's say you buy it and you download Chef Julia's ebook, my ebook. That's already your, and then maybe another one. That's already $49. Like you've
Mhm.
already, or whatever. You've already done it. So it's $49. It's only available till midnight tonight, Pacific Standard Time. So Eastern Standard Time, I guess you have a little extra time. But everyone else, jump on it and get it. Um, it's really a beautiful place where all of us plant-based, spokespeople, I don't know what you call us, plant-based family, right? Where all of our plant-based family, we all coalesce and come together and create such a beautiful experience and opportunity for folks to come into their health, to come into their selves, to have chances to take it easy, right? So, like that, I don't
Mhm.
cook, I cook a little. You take it easy. Or if you're more of an expert, or it doesn't matter if you're an expert or not. If you want to cook really beautiful traditional things, your plant-based Japanese ebook that is accessible. You don't have to have a certain skill level to cook beautiful plant-based food. You just have to be willing to do it. You just have to buy the ingredients, set the self time aside, and do it.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
grab the ebook. I've been dropping the link in the chat. And Julia, do you have any other things you want to mention or bring up to the
Yeah,
people?
one last thing
Yeah.
before I have to go. There is an advanced cooking skills course in the bundle from Ramses Bravo, and he is the author of a lot of the Forks Over Knives cookbooks and stuff. So he's created a video series where he does these quick video demonstrations of knife skills and cooking skills. So I know there are a lot of people that always ask me to do things when I'm doing my Zoom classes and whatever, and they want to know about, well, how did you do this? And how did you use a mandolin? And how did you cut that? And how did you blanch that? Well, there's a course here as part of the bundle, and it's worth like $100. So there you go. There's something for people that don't cook, something for people who want to learn advanced cooking skills, easy, complicated, and everything in between. So get your bundle, get
Yeah.
it from Rachel at her link. If you're watching her channel, get it from her. If you watch me, you want to get it from me, that's fine, but just get it. And don't
Get it.
delay because last year we had so many people, and I had people contact me for months after the bundle because they would see something about it somewhere. And they would say, "Oh, can I still get that bundle?" And, I would say, "No, no, it was only good for 10 days." And then they would be like, "Oh, okay." So remember, once it's gone, we never have it again. And the bundle is different every year. So we'll do this again next year, but next year's bundle will be totally different. And I'm already planning my bundle contribution for next year. I'm already starting it in my head. And,
Me too.
it's going to be great. And what's that?
I said, me too, Julia.
Yeah,
Got it in
good,
my
good.
brain. I want to turn it in first. I already know. Or second. I can
Right.
turn it in second is okay too.
Yeah, that way you can get if you turn it in early, you can get an appearance on Chef AJ's show. So,
I
what's not
know.
to love? But we're gonna work together on strategy for next year, so we'll be doing great. But yeah, get your bundle from Rachel and love it, and, we're gonna continue doing stuff. Maybe we'll do a class together one day. But it was great hanging out with you, Rachel. I think you're doing fabulous. You've only been in this space for a short period of time, but you're a coach in demand. I've heard somebody came to my retreat all the way from Chicago to Texas, and they were attending my retreat. And the person said, "Yeah, I wanted to do coaching with Rachel Detroit." And I'm like, "How cool is that?" There is my protege, kinda,
Yes.
and somebody's coming to see me talking about her, so I thought that was pretty cool. So Rachel has developed a very, very good reputation in a short period of time. So those people who are getting to have coaching with Rachel, and I recognize some of her followers now used to be my followers. That kinda made me a little jealous at first, but I have plenty of followers, so, I don't have any hard feelings, but it kinda cracked me up because I thought, you have to find the person meets that works for you. And
Yes.
maybe, you gel with me because of my personality and my style, but maybe you gel more with Rachel because she has more in common with you and you like her style, and she's more into the fitness and the self-esteem and the psychological aspects than I am. I'm a chef, I do mostly cooking. So there's something for everybody in what we do. And so find the person that you can really relate to and, work with that person. And that we have so many colleagues now in this space that you'll find the people you need to have in your life. It's not that hard anymore.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Chef
You're
Julia,
welcome.
for your time and coming on and sharing all of the things and hanging out with me. If you haven't gotten the bundle yet, the link is in the comments. If you don't know Chef Julia, which a lot of you guys do because a lot of you guys come from her, follow her page, Chef Julia on Facebook. Um, and all Chef Julia, what is your YouTube? Do you want to say all your social
Uh,
stuff?
you can Google me and find all that stuff, but my YouTube channel is just Julia Dunaway. And I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I just recently uploaded 5 new videos, all recipes from my new Japanese plant-based Japanese ebook. So, join my YouTube channel. I plan to do a lot more on YouTube and at
Awesome.
least get back to doing my weekly videos. So, thanks everybody, and thank
Perfect.
you, Rachel. It was a pleasure to spend some time with you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, everybody. Thanks,
Bye.
Julia.